Africa just got a huge power up, literally. Some of the world's biggest developmental banks just dropped a multi-billion-dollar plan. It's called Mission 300, and the goal is simple: to bring electricity to over 300 million Africans. And not by the year 2100, not by the next century, but starting now. So this isn't charity, it's Africa connecting the grid to destiny. Let's check it out.
Thank you so much. This is very exciting to be here, especially with the two of you. And of course, our session is about Mission 300, which Ajay and Dr. Ta, you know very closely. And for people who may not know, this was launched just a few months ago and with a commitment to power 300 million Africans. There's quite a bit to do, but quite a lot of progress that we've seen over the past few months, which hopefully we can get into. Ajay, I was hoping you could start for us, because you were there in Dar es Salaam earlier this year. Give us a snapshot of what we've seen and what you've been able to achieve.
Yes, I mean, look, the idea was that you can't have a development agenda or story with 600 million people in Africa, essentially with no power. And what I've said from day one, and you know, Sidi has just taken over. You should all be congratulating him because he's going to be an outstanding president of the African Development Bank and a great partner for me. But his predecessor and I had this conversation and said, electricity is a basic right. It's a fundamental right. Because without that, you can't have health, education, anything delivered. And so we tried to go at that and said, let's put a big number out there and see if we can get there. The World Bank had connected 100 million people to power over the prior decade. So the idea was, and our size was, can we go to say 250 in 5 or 6 years? And Akin stepped up with 50 and ended up with 300 million, which sounded like a really good number, half the people we would be connecting. That's how it began. It began without the ability to say, we know for sure we're going to get to 300. We might get to 250. We might get to 350. But it's way better than the current rate of progress on connecting people to electricity. The second part was we said we don't want to just connect them to one solar light and one fan, but to give them enough electricity in the house or in the shop to be a productive member of society. A computer, a fridge to open a chemist shop with medicines, or ability to create a hairdressing salon that I saw recently. All of these I saw live in Mozambique recently. And so that is the second part. And then the third part was make it happen at the country level. So make countries own the process with us as a group and say what rules and regulations and policies need to change so that the private sector comes in with the right kind of enthusiasm, because there will not be enough money in either our balance sheets or the balance sheets of those countries. We're going to need to put in large sums of money. And the real numbers are very large. We're talking about somewhere between 40 and 50 billion from the two of us put together over the coming years, another 15 odd billion with the IMF coming to the fiscal headroom of countries, and maybe somewhere between 20 and 30 billion from the private sector in that space. That's what we're up to.
Wow. And Dr. Ta, as Ajay was just alluding to there, you're less than a month into this position, correct?
Yes. I started on the 1st of September.
1st of September. And yet, this seems like a seamless partnership.
But I had the privilege to meet Ajay in July. He was very kind to receive me in his office in DC, and we started talking about Mission 300, because Mission 300 is key for Africa. It's about unleashing the potential of micro, small, medium enterprise in Africa, income-generating activities. As you know, Africa has a demographic dividend to tap. Most of the population of the world will be in Africa. By 2050, we'll have 1 person out of 4 will be African.
I think that's a good point to stop right there, guys. So, yes, I think that was an interesting fact that, very soon 1 out of 4 people will be African, right? But let's get back to it. So, about 4 different banks announced this multi-billion-dollar partnership. We're talking about Mission 300, of course, and it's going to be from solar farms in Niger, hydro plants in Mozambique, microgrids in Somalia, and other transmission lines from Nigeria to Chad. It was recently announced, and it's supported by the African Union. The AFDB is part of Agenda 2063, right? So it's a mix of clean energy products, solar, hydro, gas, wind, all of these different things, right? So the World Bank Group has committed to 30 billion in public sector investment. Let's see, African Development Bank has committed 18 billion. That's part of the combined 48 billion with the African Developmental Bank and the World Bank Group. The Islamic Development Bank has committed 2.65 billion. Then the Asian Development Bank has committed 1.5 billion, guys. So most people hear, foreign loans and think it's like a debt trap, right? Or another headline about Africa borrowing again, right? But not this time. These funds are structured as co-investments, right? Not bailouts. So these banks they share equity with the African utilities, right? Meaning the Africans own what gets built, right? So it's setting up infrastructure for Africans, right? So this is a quiet revolution that many aren't talking about, right? When Africa steps up to being or stops being a power consumer and becomes a power producer, then things shift, because sovereignty isn't about just about borders. It's about plugs, right? We all need these different things to be a part of the modern world, right? So the economic insight here is that electricity access boosts GDP growth, right? Up by 4% per year, right? Industrial zones in Kenya and Nigeria, they gain reliable supply from manufacturing, right? And they're some of the world's biggest and Africa's biggest manufacturers, right? So then social aspect is schools, clinics in rural areas. For example, Tanzania, Sudan, Somalia, they'll get 24-hour power access, which is really important. Women entrepreneurs, students gain back hours from daily fuel costs, right? So many times electricity is powered by fuel, right? So an environmental aspect is 70% of the projects use renewables, right? So reducing the diesel dependency that we just talked about. So every light bulb gets a job, right? Every powered school is a policy that works. So just kind of imagine the next African that's building on EV battery startups just because his village finally got Wi-Fi, right? So there's going to be a lot of geniuses that finally get their dues, right? So if Mission 300 stays on schedule, Africa could hit universal energy access before the year 2040, right? So that's not just flipping a switch, that's flipping history, right? Because when power flows, so does production, pride, and potential. So the next decade won't be about, it won't be powered by aid. It'll be powered by African ambition, right? So the next time someone says Africa's in the dark, or any type of crass joke like that, tell them that's old data. Because from Lagos to Mogadishu, right, this continent isn't waiting to be rescued. It's wiring itself for the future. So mashallah, of course, that's your African insight for today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because at Mr. Empower TV, we don't chase those headlines. We chase the truth behind them. And this is Mr. Empower, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.